In this tutorial in Cyberlink PowerDirector, we take our second look at using the title elements in the tutorial creation package. In our first look, we were looking at the title elements and we surveyed the 18 elements that come as part of the package, how they're different, a little bit about how they're put together. And in this tutorial, we'll show you some tips on applying them. So what I have on the screen is a segment of a Microsoft Word tutorial about how to place a border around a page or a paragraph. And let's say there are places in this where I want to augment the teaching by adding a visual, and the visual will be one of these title elements from the Creator Pack. I've gone into the project and placing my playhead in locations where I want to. When it's at a point where I want to add an object, I simply right-click on the white triangle, and it says Add Timeline Marker. And if I click on that, it will let me put a note in. I could actually put the content of the text that I may want at that location, or I can leave it blank. I'll leave it blank for now, and click on OK. And so here are 4 potential places where I might want to add a visual marker. So to do that, I go to my title room, and instead of using all content, I'm going to simplify it and drag down to the tutorial creation section, and here I see my 18 title objects that come as part of the package. You notice I have, as we noticed in our previous lesson, 6 callouts, 6 dialogues, which basically have quotes in the front and the back, and 6 text boxes. So we're going to use a couple of them just to show you the kinds of things that you can do. Let's go back to our first marker, timeline marker, and I did give this a title. It says Apply to Paragraph or Whole Document. And so let's say we want to highlight that. I'll take this call out and drag and drop it, and here it starts in the center. If I'm okay with the position of it, I can actually edit the title without going into my designer, but I want to change both the title and I want to change the object. So let's start by double-clicking on that. That will get me into my title designer for this add-on that I have. And we will say Apply to Document. And then we'll change the second paragraph to read or to paragraph. But I don't want it to point in this location. So we're going to click on the graphic track, number 1, and we're going to move our box down and over. I'm actually going to tilt it. Now this is an important thing to remember because sometimes all of these default by pointing to the right. If you actually wanted the object to point to the left, all you need to do is, I'll get the one away from the other here, drag and reverse it 180 degrees, and I could actually bring it in from this area here and highlight it from the right if I want to. Let's do that. Then again, I can make it smaller or larger, however I want to. If I want to change the proportions, I simply click on the object settings of the graphic, and this will give me some ways in which I can change it. If I want it to be a narrower arrow or a fatter one, I can turn off Maintain Aspect Ratio, and I can change the height and the width independently of one another. Well, let's assume we want something about like this. So my graphic is where I want it. Let's find our text again and drag it over and drop it inside our graphic. And now I've adjusted both the text and the graphic to fit on the screen where I want to. Click on OK. I don't know if my duration is close to what I want or not, but we'll go ahead and play a segment here and watch and see what happens. It pops on the screen and the text comes in according to the preset of that particular title that came in my tutorial creation package. That one didn't work out too bad. Let's try another one here. Let's drop down to our final section, our text box section, and drag down this green one here. And here we have the same pattern. We have a text and we have a graphic behind it. I'm going to edit them both in this case again, so I'll double click on it to get into my title designer. And I can decide to change the text style, the font, anything I want to. We can just say you can choose color and style. Now let's assume I want this to be larger, so we'll make it a little bit bigger, which means we're going to have to enlarge our graphic. We can click on our graphic or click down in the title area here. Let's make it bigger yet. And now we have our graphic. We can also change the way the text comes in. Right now it says wipe down. If I want to change my starting effect on the text, I have to be on the text line here, not the object line. Click on starting effect. Right now it should be on wipe down. It is. Let's change that one to pop up 1. And we'll click on OK. And so we've made these adjustments to make the graphic fit perfectly with what we want to do in this time in our training video. I'll go ahead and back up and we'll play it. And while we have the instructions and the mouse movement and the dialogue, now we have this operational for us right there. And again, you can change the length of it as well as obviously the location and the features, but that's a simple way to do that. And so you can take any of these 18 elements that you find here and modify both the size and shape of the graphic object and the size, shape, font, color, shadow, all the features of the text to customize it to fit your own particular style. That's how you begin to apply the text elements that are part of the Tutorial Creator Pack when you're using them to augment a tutorial that you're designing or any other video that you wish to use them on in CyberLink PowerDirector.